Alrighty, testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello again. This is Jin with a rebroadcast today, where I'm looking to go ahead and set up the basic backend structure for my for my uh, for my coding. Excuse me, for my platform, Dos Santos Apartments. I still don't know if I want to change the name because this is actually more of like a property management company rather than a specific apartment complex. So I may go ahead and change this eventually, but for now it's called Dos Santos Apartments, maybe Dos Santos Property Management in the future. But in any case, I don't want to get too nitty gritty on the name of the company. As it gets more built out and I actually have other full web pages built out for these different apartment complexes, I'm gonna have to likely make the change then. But until it starts getting confusing, I'm gonna go with this for now. The most important part is to keep moving forward. So it's been about a 2-week break, and you can see on the screen we have the basic format of the web page. We just have a very simple front end structure set up, and now it is time to start working on the back end. I'm going to go ahead and find my live stream just to make sure everything is up and running again. And once I do that, I'm going to continue until it starts getting confusing. I'm going to go with this for now. The most important part is to keep moving forward. So it's been about a 2-week break, and you can see okay, quality looks good to me. Basic format of the web page. We just have a very simple front end structure set up, and now it is time to start working on the back end. I'm going to go ahead and find my live stream just to make sure everything is up and running again. And once I do that, I'm going to continue. All right. So first things first, I actually have to build out this document here a bit more, um, just to make sure I have a document that properly just like translates or expresses what this app is supposed to do. So let's see. Idea is that Dos Santos Apartments is a property management company and that manages apartments. Users will be able to search different apartments owned by Dos Santos Apartments in the state of Washington. So I know I mentioned this briefly about once this naming starts to get confusing, I'm going to change it out. Honestly, maybe now is the time to do it while I'm building this document out. So I have a couple examples of two other companies that I'm just very briefly I'm going to be loosely referencing. So this one is Widener Apartment Homes, and this one is Bridge Property Management. I like this apartment homes name. I think that's a bit more intuitive than just saying apartment homes. Um, I'm going to go with that. And remember, there are very few things that you want to do completely from your head because that just, you use these teams that have property management companies with their names and everything. A lot of them likely did start out as small companies, but they've likely had time to have these different marketers and other people working on their brand. So naming convention wise, let's go ahead and go with what works. With what kind of larger companies have went with. I'm not a marketer. Um, I don't really have the background to be able to say, oh, I've done research, say one name is better than the others. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with this, Dos Santos Apartment Homes. So now that I'm changing it here, I'm going to want to change it everywhere else. So even on GitHub, let's go ahead and see if we can find this project. Dos Santos Apartments, looks like we have it right here. All right, so I'm going to want to change the name of this. Apartment Homes. Rename. Okay, so I have it renamed over there, cool. And I also want to rename this right here. I wonder if I can go ahead and find it. On a Windows computer, you can see here I'm using Ubuntu in order to run VS Code. So I have this separate directory here, you can tell it's really long and complicated. But in any case, I'm going to go into this gin folder. Let's see, GitHub. Now I see Dos Santos Apartments right here. I'm going to hope I have the permissions to do this. Apartment homes. Let's close out of this. Try again. Try again. Okay, let's try one more time. Does not look like it's working. Apartment homes. Section cannot be completed. Open another program. Let's go ahead and open up Task Manager. Let's see if there's something running that might be stopping us. Is Ubuntu running? I don't even know if I'd necessarily want to close out of it. So this is something that I will change later. Seems like it's going to be a bit more complicated than just changing the name, so I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave the name of the actual folder itself to that. If the GitHub is changed, then anyone if anyone wanted to pull this, then luckily to have that name there. So, all right. Dos Santos Apartment Homes is a property management company that manages apartments. Nice and straightforward. Users will be able to search different apartments owned by Dos Santos Apartment Homes in the state of Washington. Additionally, there will be a user admin dashboard with different permissions based on the type of user. Different options will include a user's ability to send maintenance tickets and let's see, so they want to be able to generally send maintenance tickets and it will include a user's ability to send maintenance tickets and a user's ability to send maintenance tickets and manage their payments. Cool. So to make this a little bit more clear, users will be able to send maintenance tickets. Admins will be able to review booking, review unoccupied apartment numbers per property, and let's see. So admins are going to have a lot of power. They're going to be able to review unoccupied apartment numbers per property, and let's see, create, let's see, connect users to, let's see, and approve applications to link an email to a property location, including rental term, and price per month. Let's see, including rental terms, price per month, fees, etc. So I would say this idea serves as a description as well. User stories, admin. Admin spoke with a renter and renter submitted an application. So user stories here, just to go over briefly, is going to be what's the go ahead from the perspective of one user of the app or the app or the platform. Try to just walk through verbally kind of what their experience is like. That way you have a good idea of what the user flow is like for that particular user. So right now I'm going to do it for both the admin as well as for a renter. So in this case, as an admin, the admin spoke with the renter and the renter submitted an application um, after confirming they would like to um, rent um, apartment A's room 202. Admin verifies there are no other applications for room 202 in apartment A and approves the renter's application after review. Perfect. So that means they are able to review the application and then they are able to go ahead and approve the application. Um, admin has the ability to change, um, to update before approval. Let's see. Afterward, um, admin is able to view the renter's payment and maintenance history requests. Okay, so after an application is approved, then the admin now has access to see the renter's payment and maintenance history slash requests. I'm gonna go ahead and turn down my heater. It's actually really hot in here. All right, now as a user reviews the um, user reviews the apartment and price, agrees to rent from the Santos apartments in apartment A, room 202. User logs, creates an account with Dos Santos apartments, apartment A. Uh, actually, if I think back to my experience on when I signed up to have this online payment portal with all these with the maintenance feature and everything like that, the way that it worked is that I actually signed in through the company or through the property management company, and then afterwards, after I signed in, I was able to select the apartment. So we'll go ahead and use that as a user flow. User creates an account with Dos Santos Apartment Homes. Um, user selects apartment A and um, submits an app and sees a list of available apartments or apartment, excuse me, A sees a list of available apartments for apartment A. User selects room 202 and submits their application. Perfect. So I'm going to specify renter here actually. So we're actually skipping a couple steps here. We have this admin, we have this renter. What we're also going to need is a general user. User is looking to rent an apartment and is reviewing apartment A. User is able to review the home page and easily find a list of the available apartments as well as the rent per month. User is able to schedule. I actually don't want to do scheduling. Is prompted to call those um, part the number for apartment A to schedule a viewing. Users also given the option to begin processing an application which will link to Dos Santos apartment homes, um, login, sign up, login portal. Alrighty. So now we have this idea of apartment A has its own website with its own homepage and its own ability to view all the available rooms and everything like that. Um, but if they're looking to submit an application, they are going to have to go through the Dos Santos apartment homes sign up login portal, or just this entire portal of this Dos Santos apartment homes umbrella, we should say. And this is going to be the main focus of what we want to do right now. We want a really nice login portal where they're able to go ahead and sign in, find these apartments, and then do any type of maintenance if they end up becoming a renter. So that's something really good to keep in mind. So proof of concepts, what do we have to prove that we're able to do in order to say, can we feasibly make this app? So proof of concept, what we need to do is complete basic CRUD operations, and even before that. So CRUD operation is going to be create something, create, update, delete, and then so you want to be able to create something, update what you have, delete something that you have. So there's a get request, which means just get the information. So just like view, I'm gonna have to Google this. CRUD operations. Read. Okay, that makes sense. Read. Create, read, update, delete. And of course, complete this. Sync, relational database, PSQL to platform. And that's something that I want to get done today. Create complete basic CRUD operations, and then create a login. All right. Sign up portal. Okay. So now, as a minimum viable product, what we're going to want to have is not necessarily so much of this user story here with apartment A, but complete this sign in log up portal as well as the dashboard. So as a user, I want to be able to, let's see, sign up with those Santos apartment homes. Log in with Dos Santos apartment home. Let's see. Locate apartments, complexes, rooms, to submit an application. Post. Let's see. So I want to be able to submit an application. And review status. I don't even want them to be able to review the status. I think that's good enough for the user. And now I'm also going to put in here another tab as a renter. I want to be able to log in with Dos Santos apartment homes. I want them to be able to view dashboard, to view rent, pay rent, and to view and pay rent. View dashboard to review and create maintenance requests. Cool. As an engineer, I want to, let's see, have two apartment complexes to view, have multiple rooms per apartment complexes, which have available rooms, have one apartment complex which has no available rooms, have multiple rooms per, let's see. So pretty much what I want to say now is I want this database to have some type of data in here that I'm able to work with to make sure that this user and renter experience, so that this user experience works. So this first two bullets are going to be primarily for the user. Now, as a renter, I need to be able to confirm have multiple accounts that are linked to an apartment and room. That way I'm able to see if they're able to interact with it. So I can test this renter portion that I want as well, and have an account to, well, self-explanatory. I need to test if it works. So I'm going to move this engineer section to the bottom, actually. And let me go ahead and indent this inwards. Okay, that is not working out. I'm going to copy this. Move this down here. As an admin, I want to add apartment complexes, add apartment, let's see, view, update, apartment rooms by user. Because remember, if we're going in, we don't want the admin just to be able to say, oh hey, room 202 is occupied, but I just want to go ahead and set it as unoccupied. We can't necessarily do that because that room is going to be tied to a user. So to make sure our data is as accurate as possible, what we'd want to be able to do is just remove a user from the room itself. So I'm going to specify here very clearly that we want to be able to view and update apartment rooms by user. So I should go ahead and clarify this more. We want to be able to update the apartment rooms by user and view apartment rooms by apartment complex. So now we have a couple of different things. We want to be able to view by apartment complex, and we want to be able to update apartment rooms by user. So hopefully these things are going to start to overlap as time goes on. These are really separate things right now. We have a view, which is going to be a get request, and we have an update, which is going to be a put request. So this is all going to be a part of these CRUD operations that we need in order to operate this kind of app. And right now we have this very basic structure of we just want this login portal, we want a dashboard to be available if you're a user, and we want an admin we want the same portal you're able to log in. But if you happen to be an admin, then you're going to have these abilities to go ahead and view all of the users and also update them as needed. Um, and also um, view and approve or deny um, user applications. So that's going to be the last part I want for this tier 1. And we'll continue to build out this list as we continue to move forward. I think this is good for now on kind of the minimum viable product of what we want to say that our platform is functional. So the hope is as we continue to build this out, this is actually going to have different apartments listed into it. Right now, we just want 3. We want 2 that have available rooms and 1 that doesn't have any available rooms. Um, but anyhow, um, hopefully we'll be able to flesh this out a lot more as time goes on. But this MVP, this minimum viable product, is really going to be this Dos Santos apartment homes portal that we're going to be mainly focusing on. Apartment homes, change this in this title as well. All right, cool. Now that that's completed, I want to now start actually working with the code. You can see that our tech stack here, we have JavaScript, we have React, we've done those too. And now we need to use Express and SQLize for the back end and use Postgres for our database. So I actually don't even remember if I have Postgres properly set up on my desktop because mainly I code on my MacBook, but sadly my Mac isn't strong enough to support live streaming. So we may have a little bit of, we might have a few more things to work out here. Minimum viable product features. We'll go ahead and do this really quickly since I left this out. Users are able to view by apartment. View available rooms by apartment. Renters are able to view dashboard to interact with payment and maintenance. And admins are able to view dashboard to interact with apartments and applications. So we'll go ahead and leave it at that for now. It's not too specific, but it gives us a good general idea on what we want this app to be. So I'm satisfied with this for the time being. I do want to start building out this database schema, but before that, let's go ahead and set up the connection to make sure that part is working properly. So that our VS Code app here is actually able to interact with Postgres. So one thing we're going to need is this PG that we've already previously installed with my Boilermaker because I'm most familiar with Postgres, so that's the default of what I go with. But let's go ahead and check our files right now. What we would hope that we have is this server folder that connects some type of database folder that will set up the connection with Postgres. So first things first, let's try to get Postgres installed onto this desktop or confirm if we already have it. If we already had it, then ideally I'd be able to go into here and just type PSQL and I'd be able to have it globally installed so that, okay, so it looks like we don't have this. Apt install, client common. So ideally, I'd be able to say PSQL, type it into the terminal and into the Ubuntu terminal, and have access to Postgres's command line interface. But let's figure out how to get set up. Ubuntu set up PostgreSQL CLI. So as a programmer, your biggest job is to be an expert Googler, so that's hopefully what we're going to be able to do. So this is something very similar to what we saw, some sudo apt. I don't know what that apt stands for, but let's see. Use the following command. By default, the software creates a Postgres user. It's a default Postgres. From local Ubuntu. So which one's this? Install Postgres from PostgreSQL apt repository. It's available on all Ubuntu versions by default, but it doesn't guarantee automatic updates when a new release comes out. Local repo only has snapshots of a specific version. The best practice is to install the software from PostgreSQL apt repository. Provides the latest PSQL version as well as previous server packages, extensions, and modules. Cool. Sounds like this is what I want to go with. If this doesn't work, then we can see other alternatives. To install the official repository, you first need to add it to your system. Import the GPG repository key with the commands. Okay. So let's go ahead and try doing this and see what we get. I'm thankful that I didn't forget my my Ubuntu password because I was a little bit uncertain. It's already the newest version. It's set to be manually installed. Okay. So it seems like we're good there. I'm going to copy and paste this next line, which looks like... This looks like we're adding the key onto whatever we have copy and pasted. I don't see anything strange in here. I'm going to go ahead and run it. We got an OK, so that's good to see. Add the PostgreSQL repository by typing this. And let's take a look. Sudo, which means you give permission for it to do anything. sh, don't remember. -c, I'm gonna say some type of copy. Echo wants to either create or view something. I'm not too familiar with like Linux commands or CLI commands in general, honestly. Repos apt main. So as far as I can tell, it's saying that we want to go ahead and create whatever this is inside of our home directory plus this. Let's see what happens. Oh, whatever it did, it did what it's supposed to do. Step 2, update the package list. Get update. So if we run this and we get some type of update, then we're good so far. Perfect. It's getting things, it's updating things. And one thing interesting about Windows and working with Ubuntu is if I were on my Mac, I would just go into my command line and just continue to work from there. And I feel like it's really simple that way. But when I'm working on a Windows device and I'm working in Ubuntu and everything, I found that I'm the most comfortable with just interacting with the terminal right here because it's already connected with Ubuntu. Um, Otherwise, if I try going to CLI here, not looking for Riot, I'm not looking to play League or Valorant or anything, but oh, what is it? Terminal? Yep, Windows Terminal. This is not where you want to run any type of Ubuntu or Linux commands or anything like that. This is just going to be your Windows command line. If I wanted to go ahead and manually do it, I'd have to go into Ubuntu, which I never really ever do. I'd rather just use just use my VS Code terminal. It'll just be less. I'll be less forgetful that way. If I tried using this command line over here, I'm just worried that I'm going to accidentally go into the terminal every once in a while. Any case, it looks like this finished up, so let's go ahead and move on to the next step. Cool, now we can actually install Postgres. To install Postgres and PostgreSQL contrib package, which provides additional features, use the following command. Do I want this contribution package or whatever this is? By default, this software creates a Postgres user. Honestly, let's do it. I don't know what is or isn't there, but if I want the most comfortable experience, let's go ahead and get everything to avoid any potential issues later. If for some reason it turns out that's a bad idea, then I'll have to deal with the consequences then, but I feel like this is the path to the fewest number of troubles, so I'll go ahead and stick with that for now. Postgres and PSQL is a very reliable it's been around for a long time. I don't foresee something on the top of the front page of Google to really very severely mislead me. And I will say, do your due diligence. If there's something that you feel like you can trust, that's fine. But I accept the consequences because I just made this decision myself. Don't do this because I'm doing it. Make sure you're personally okay and comfortable with doing this as well. Um, let's see. So it looks like when you you install from your local Ubuntu repository, you have to manually set the port, which Postgres's default port is 5432, by the way, just in case you did not know. Um, but it looks like this should be doing all of this for me. And I'll give this just a few more seconds to set up here. I'm going to check my package JSON just to see what my installed dependencies are. Um, I you'll likely see me check this a lot in my package JSON. It's been 2 weeks since I've coded in this project. If I'm ever unsure of what I've installed until now, best thing to do is just go ahead and check. You just check for yourself. What did you install? What do you need? Like, do I need Express? Doesn't look like I do. I already have it installed. I have PG installed, so I should be. This PG should allow me to connect with Postgres. Um, yeah, it seems like I should be pretty much good for the most part after I get this installed. And then I just have to make the Express connection, which I'll check that documentation in a bit. Well, while that's installing, I guess now it's not a bad time to start checking up on that. Um, Postgres, Express. Okay, here it is. Setting up an Express.js server. Excuse me. Install Postgres. Now we have our Express required. We have a body parser. Um, I don't really use this body parser, but that's fine. Let's see, app.get JSON, app.listen, app running on test port, app running on port 3000, connecting Postgres. Okay, this is what we actually want. Pool equals require pg.pool. I never used this pool thing here actually. Um, I'm going to have to see how I did it on my other servers, because I'm not too familiar with the syntax. Maybe this is better, but it's just not what I'm comfortable with right now. Let's check on the status of this. It looks like it is finished installing. So now PSQL, if I type this in, will I have access? Connection failed, no such file or directories or accepting connections on that socket. If I go into my terminal, well, I'll be able to do it here. PSQL. It's not recognized. Alright. So I may have a problem. Apt-get install PostgreSQL. Okay. So I follow all these steps. To establish a connection with a newly set up database, log into the Postgres account with Postgres. Let's try that. Close out of our terminal, go back into VS Code. unassign sudo su shown once a day. This error generally means that a server is not running based on there have comments, so it's due to the main package being somehow uninstalled. Since the uninstall hasn't been called with the purge. Interesting. Let's try running this command. Okay. So I won't say anything too strange. Postgres 14. Okay. So I have I on everything where this person has this issue of like RC, which apparently this means uninstalled. So it seems like I don't have the same issue. Make somehow uninstalled. Heard. So let's see. Can I run apt get install? Let's see. SQL. This thing has a password for Postgres. Interesting. Default password for Postgres. If this doesn't work, I'm not sure. Let's try ident. Nope. I'm gonna kill this. I can't run this weird PostgreSQL installation thing that I just tried. Let's see. I'm gonna try running this command again one more time. Password for Postgres. That's so strange because I don't have password for Postgres. Let's see. Let's see. This is cleared. Sniffing attacks. I'm not sure what I did to somehow set a password on this. Hmm. Hmm. I'm gonna kill this terminal and create a new one actually. I was in some kind of Postgres terminal, it looks like. Well, today is the day of debugging. It's about getting our environment properly set up. So I want to run this command. I have an error. Password for Jin. Okay. Now it's out of Postgres. So can I say PSQL here? So whenever I run the sudo su Postgres thing, I enter into some other directory. So doing this, just from my base terminal, am I able to run PSQL here? Nope. Going to go ahead and Google this question again. My PSQL can't. Here. Postgres. Run this command. Hmm. Well, according to that article that I just took a look at, um, the PostgreSQL can be installed without a version number, but that could lead to potential issues. If I just type PSQL here, thing socket. I don't know if I fully uninstalled this. Ubuntu view installed packet view installed packages. How do I see what packages are installed? Map list installed. PostgreSQL 14. So that is a version. It's the one that I want as well. Let's see. All the necessary packages. I don't ever recall installing these two. Run these two. Looks like I have 9.5. Looks like I have a bunch of all the versions of PSQL installed. Is that what this is telling me? Interesting. They're in a very similar list of commands. Try running these 3 lines. Okay. Update. Added the repo into a system. Proceeding to install Postgres. So yeah, I'll go ahead and try to explicitly install Postgres 14. It's already the newest version. Set to manually installed. Hmm. So I'm going to try to restart my computer and hopefully I'll be back. And then by the next time I restart the live stream, hopefully I'll be able to get this connection working. Um, but I'm going to restart my computer and try to take it from there. Alrighty. Bye everybody.